All right. Hey, everybody. This is Nikki with Delicate Tension Tarot. Hopefully you can see me fine without my head being totally cut off. Now that I'm back at home, I'm having to recalibrate and figure out how I'm going to do this setting, if I'm going to be on camera for it, because I don't really have a table in here. Other than my altar table, which is what I used to read the cards on in the videos. So yeah. I'm trying to think, who's this video for? Oh yeah. So this is going to be a video for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or if you just have a lot of Taurus placements in your chart. For example, I have, I think 4 or 5 placements in Sagittarius, so I can really embody a lot of that energy in terms of my personality. Even though I am a Leo and an Aquarius rising, which, you know, sometimes you just resonate with all of them depending on what mood you're in or what's going on. And before I get started, I do want to say sorry for not posting all of January. There was a lot of really complicated energy for that month, and I know that most of you who are watching this video will definitely resonate with that. Mine was more so internal, so it was definitely a stronger period of reflection and going inward, which felt really uncomfortable, especially since I have a tendency to put on a really strong face to the world and not really ever talk about or allow myself to be vulnerable unless it's with a very select few of people. And even then I just, you know, sometimes we feel like we're burdening people with our problems, especially when you know that there's like much more darker shit going on in the world than sometimes what's going on with you. So yeah, I'm back. This will be a reading for the month of February. I'm not going to do bi-weeklies for a little while until I either figure out a better schedule or until I see more of a need for it. I feel like I'm already seeing a difference in amount of views for or per video just from doing a monthly alone. So yeah, I'm going to stick to that for a while unless you would prefer for me to go back. If that's so, please leave a comment down below and I will take it into consideration. We do have Mercury going retrograde this month, so we're already in the shadow period. It's, what day is it? Okay. It's February 8th right now. So yeah, we're already in the shadow period. Shadow periods, in my opinion, sometimes are worse than the actual retrograde, just because it's a little more messy, confusing, strange. I feel like it's almost like you start feeling the impending doom coming. And in reality, like, retrogrades aren't bad, right? All retrogrades are periods of time where we need to reflect more than we actually need to act. So it's a really good time to take a step back from whatever we're dealing with and to really think about it before we just jump in once the planet goes direct. So just take time to do that. Just go with the flow. If you have things pop up that are, you know, inconveniencing, just go with it the best that you can. That's my recommendation. I really tried to implement doing that with every retrograde that came up and with last year, and it really helped. So that's my advice to everybody out there. Do what you can, unless you absolutely have to make decisions and you're being forced to make decisions. You can't really get out of it. Now I'm done rambling. I'll get started with your reading. I'm really curious to see what's going to come up for you guys, because I feel like last year we ended off on a pretty decent note. I feel like towards the end of last year, you were really starting to see promising results to maybe things that you had committed to. And you're starting to see the sun kind of come out, right? There were a lot of big changes that possibly happened. I'm not going to take these. So yeah, let's see what's coming up for you. I do feel like you're going to start feeling a little more pressure, possibly to perform in some way. Just with us having this Leo full moon coming up, it can be very challenging, because on one hand we could want to really dive deep into our feelings and be kind of lazy, and on the other hand we can really be asked to be more courageous and to really go after what we desire. Show me what's happening for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for the month of February, please. Show me what's happening for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for February, please. I don't even want to take those if I'm going to be honest. There's like 5 of them down there. They don't feel right. And I'm not. Okay, so you have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. That's a great card to start off with. You're really coming out of the cold. This could also be about, well, we have King of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck too. So yeah, you're coming out of the cold. Whatever once was difficult is now no longer difficult, especially if we're speaking in terms of finances. If you were relocating or if you were changing homes, you could be a little bit more solid during this period of time. Also, it's quite possible that you may have had to really set some strong boundaries between you and other people. I just really feel like you're finding your strength, right? I feel like you're finding more of yourself with each day. And I feel like that's another reason why you've really finally been able to step into this energy. Because you're finding more confidence in yourself, you're finding more confidence in your actions and your decisions and your choices, and you're seeing how doing what you need to do really pays off, especially when it's for you. So let's see what's blocking you here. What's blocking Taurus? Oh. We have the Empress. I don't know if that's really a block for you. I mean, maybe you're still trying to get to this level. Because even though it is an Empress and it can be like feminine energy, so it can be wife, mother. Another way that I look at this is that the Empress is an exalted position even above a queen or a king, right? So it's quite possible that you still haven't gotten to the point in which you're desiring. You know, like maybe you're a manager, but you want to be the owner, or maybe you are someone who is in an associate managerial position and you want to be someone who steps into more of like a territory position to where you're managing more than one thing, one place, or one person. It might even be from going, you know, being in a partnership to being married. But with that block being there, it's just kind of like you're just not there yet. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to achieve that. It's just not time. It's not time right now for you to be in that position. So take this time with this, you know, next month to really buckle down and see what it is that you need to do. If this is you regarding another person, if that's what you're inquiring and you're seeking, it's quite possible that your significant other, or either your mother, their mother, someone here who has very strong opinions and usually does kind of rule the roost, might be creating a block for you. Especially if you're kind of wanting to come in from out of the cold to reconnect with them. Let's see what's in the subconscious here for Taurus. What's in the subconscious here? We have the Emperor. Now this is going to get a little more interesting. Okay. There might be power struggles right now. I feel like with you showing up in that kind of 5 of Pentacles in reverse, King of Pentacles energy, I do feel like you're taking back control of your life. I do feel like you're doing really, really good at managing your finances right now. I do feel like you've pulled yourself out of a, not a bad position, but just a position in which, you know, you may have had a like lack mentality or a fear of not being able to generate enough income. And now you're kind of reaping the rewards of your hard work. In terms of a relationship, though, if some of you are in a relationship, I do feel like there is an opportunity to mend things here, or there is an opportunity to really come back in from, you know, maybe you were put in the doghouse for some reason, but there's still that issue of boundaries there. I mean, there's a lot of respect and love here, but there still is some boundaries being put into place either by you or by this other person. Within your recent past, you have the 2 of Wands. You know, I do think at some point there really was a big decision that needed to be made. It's almost like if something wasn't going to pan out in one place, you needed to think about another or position. Because you were really having to look after more than just yourself in this situation. I do think you've already made the decision though. Or you might be waiting on somebody else to make a decision. Let me be clear about that too. Let's see what's happening in the conscious forefront mind. That's a lot. I don't want to take that. Nice. We're just going to take this. Knight of Cups because it explains it all. You could be feeling very, very happy, very fortunate at this time. You could feel quite lucky as well. Right now, I think you just feel very satisfied and content with how life is and where it's going. I think it's been better than it has been in a long time. Sorry, another card kind of flew out that's in sequential order with this one. We have the Eight of Cups that wanted to come out with that. So yeah, maybe you had to distance yourself from, it could be people, it could be places, it could be things, it could be emotional mentalities. Whatever it is, it was something that, you know, even if it did provide happiness to your life, it's almost as if you know you could be happier or you know you could be better off. It just requires taking the steps towards that thing and working towards it, and sometimes having to do that alone. So there could be a lot of distance between you and other people. Doesn't mean it's forever. It's just you're having to do what you have to do right now. Not only for yourself, but maybe for other people in your environment. Kind of like this. Six of Swords in reverse in your near future. I don't think you're going to be going back to that difficult time. Whatever waters you've escaped from, I think you're just going to continue distancing yourself from them. Even though a lot of times some people will look at the Six of Swords in reverse as going back into difficult territory, I just see it as a thing of like, you're not going to return to that. I don't think you're going to return to that. Let's see what this says. We have the Tower. Okay. I think you're going to have some big changes coming up. If they're not big changes, then fuck that. They're big changes. These changes could be physical, but I feel like they're going to be more so mental. I think that there's going to be a lot going on inside you in the future. If you're having some issues with like processing too much information, or if you have a lot to think about right now, or if you're doing too much, slow down. Because the Tower too can be an impending crisis. Could be like mental anxiety, fatigue, exhaustion. Don't listen to yourself right now, okay? Sorry for my tummy. Listen to yourself right now, because I feel like you could have signals going off in all different areas where it's almost like you're being asked to slow down. There's a way to be responsible and a way to hold yourself accountable without like killing yourself over it. And this applies to everything, right? Like work, friendships, family, love. So just be careful. Let's see what's going on in your emotional sector. Yeah, Eight of Wands. So that's I'm really gonna pull that in and kind of put that behind the statement of exhaustion or anxiety or really working yourself up. You could have a lot of communication coming towards you as well, or you're just emotionally, you're having to do a lot. You're either having to communicate a lot. I do think you are, with the Page of Wands being there. You're having to communicate a lot. You're having to do a lot. You're having to literally like be that person who's balancing, 10 different spinning plates. So just be mindful. What's going on around Taurus, please? We have the Three of Wands as to what's happening around you or in your environment. and the Three of Pentacles, I think you're waiting for the next steps of something to evolve. This almost feels like it's connected to, I want to say anywhere between October and December's readings. So I encourage you to really go back and look at those, because this feels connected. Because there's this sense of, you know, really working together to establish something. Maybe even some form of an apprenticeship, with the Three of Pentacles being there. Three of Wands, you could be waiting on your ships to come in for the hard work that you've done. But since this is what's happening around you, I feel like other people are taking stock of this when they look at you. Other people could also be worried about the work that they've put into something. You know, it's like time to go around and check all the boxes. If this is a relationship thing, if that's what you're inquiring about, it's quite possible that you could be dealing with more than one person, although that's not how I feel about this. To me, this looks more so like in a relationship, two people who equally have their shit together, maybe in their own lives, but in a relationship, since they're not there yet, so they're having to work on some things. Maybe it's moving a friendship into more stable territory. Let's see what's going on in your hopes and fears. We have the King of Wands. I think you're hopeful for the amount of things that you have to take care of and do right now. I think the energy is there, but I think because we're sitting here and we're talking about running yourself ragged or being careful of that, don't, like I said, if you're feeling and experiencing a sense of like either your body or your soul really just like giving up on you when you're having to do a lot, listen, it's telling you everything that you need to know. If you feel like you need to rest, just rest. Or really figure out a way to like counteract those issues. Oh my God. Sorry about that. So let's see what's going on in the far-reaching outcome or advice. Okie dokie. We have the King of Pentacles again for you. You started off with this and you're ending with this. We have the Six of Cups. Good father, stable father, maybe having to deal with children, maybe having to deal with people you've been friends with in your environment. We have the Chariot moving forward. And we have Justice in reverse. So I feel like there's still some things that are going on in your environment. You're going to get to where you're going, and you're going to get what you deserve. I really need you to understand that. But I feel like it's, in the meantime, use this opportunity to really figure out your game plan as to where you're headed, what you want that to look like, and how you can actually perform and function at your highest. If this is a relationship, make sure you can stick solid to your commitments, okay? If this isn't you and this is another person you're needing this from, make sure they can stick to their commitments in this situation. Because it's almost like you're just not there yet. But enjoy getting there. Like there's this thing of really, you know, don't force so much to happen all at once, or don't feel like you have to have it figured out. Enjoy figuring it out. Enjoy kind of, you know, testing the waters and seeing what it is that works and what doesn't work, and have fun with it. Because there's this sense of like the joy isn't here. It feels very straightforward and it feels very like tight, you know, it's not, it's a very rigid reading. I don't see this flowing of like joy and happiness with what's going on. It's just kind of like, no, this is the way that it needs to get done, which is fine. You're an earth sign. I get it. But I really want you to rediscover the joy. The only joyful card I even see here is the Eight of Cups, in my opinion. especially with the placements. Or not 8 of Cups, 9 of Cups, my bad. Is the 9 of Cups, and even that joy is short-lived. To me, I actually see that more as just like smug satisfaction with getting what you want. And that's always temporary. So we're going to clarify a few of these. Let's clarify the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. We have the 2 of Cups, so this could have been a mending of a situation or relationship. This could have been making things better. With the Devil, if you are in a relationship, I don't necessarily think this is like a third party energy. I actually think it's a almost like either a work energy or it's an energy of being involved in too many other things that really have you being trapped in your commitments. This commitment is always looming over you. This thing that you're stuck to is always looming over you, but it feels very work oriented. Or maybe it's like you having to help out with a family business, or maybe it's, you know, you being in school, but it's something having to do with really strong commitments that you can't really get out of right now. And 2, with the Devil, that's always kind of like the workhorse card for me, like working yourself to death. Yeah. Temperance. Balance it out. Figure it out. Figure out a way to do both. Figure out a way, work-life balance, figure it out. If this has nothing to do with work, then in your relationships, figure it out. Figure out how you can balance things out so that you can spend enough time or more time with this person and create more balance and harmony in your life. Because maybe that's what's happening too. Maybe that's why there is no joy here, because you're having to do so much and you're having to be such a responsible figure that there is no time for fun or play. So figure out how you can get your play back. We have Judgment. Even though I didn't say it out loud, I was thinking about the 8 of Cups and 9 of Cups. With Judgment being there as the clarifier with those, I feel like it's time to really figure it out. You figure it out where the universe and justice, karmic law, whatever you want to call it, is going to figure it out for you. Trust me on that. Figure it out. Figure out the way to be happy on both sides. And then trim it down with the Ace of Swords. Figure out your truth. And then apply that truth to your life. Let's see, the Tower and the 6 of Swords in reverse. Clarify the Tower and the 6 of Swords in reverse. We have the 7 of Swords. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse. Stop whatever conversation you're having with yourself. Stop. Like, I feel like you have these expectations of yourself to be able to do it all. And there's almost this thing of making an excuse for your choices. There is a way. There's a way to figure out how to balance this out. Please believe me on that. Like, you're already showing up as these really solid characters. Don't go into overdrive. Because that actually might turn you into a less than savory aspect of these characters here. It'll make you more aggravated. It'll make you more controlling. It'll make you domineering. It might even push you to a breaking point. You don't have to be the yes man. You don't have to say yes to everything. It'll kill you, you know? Tough love. Get your shit together. Let's clarify the 7 of Swords here. Knight of Swords, which was already there when I flipped over the deck, so that clarifies that. I was like, is this deception on somebody else's end? I mean, it could be. You could be finding out some shit about people in your immediate surroundings that are being less than honest, but it might even be time to say goodbye to some people. This doesn't feel like love. That's, you know, gonna be honest, this doesn't feel like love. I'm not getting love vibes out of this reading. But if it is, you know, I just feel like this is about cleaning up. This is about cleaning up. This is about creating some form of a better routine in your life. Let's clarify the Eight of Wands and the Page of Wands. We have the Hanged Man, and then we have the Six of Swords, right? I do feel like emotionally you have a support system in your surrounding. Somebody who kind of helps you see the picture, or like see the light in something. They really help you move forward. I think this person is encouraging you to take a time out as well. Because in this card, he's carrying the Four of Swords and he's following two people. And the Four of Swords is often it's a thing about resting. It's a thing about meditation. It's a thing about going within, or just not being in movement. It's being perfectly still. So I feel like you're getting encouragement with this. You might even be getting encouragement with this if it's not in a relationship sense. Just people in your surroundings. Somebody above you. Somebody who leads the way for you. Let's clarify the Three of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. We have the Two of Pentacles. Once again, juggling your commitments, juggling your responsibilities, maybe other people doing this. You might also be in a position where they could be talking either budget cuts, or they could be restructuring the work environment. You know, they're trying to figure out who they find the most value in, because it's going down from the threes to the twos, so it's having to make a decision, right? And then with the Eight of Wands, it's executing that decision. It's taking your shot. Let's clarify the King of Pentacles here. I'm starting to get nervous because I know that my camera typically cuts out within like a 30-minute mark, so I'm trying to figure it out. The King of Pentacles here is clarified by Justice and the Sun, which is beautiful. Like I said, I do think that you're going to get everything that you deserve. I think that all of the hard work that you're putting in, all of your time and effort, I do think that you are going to have it given back to you. I do think that there's going to be some really good news coming up within the next 6 months for you guys. So let's say maybe around July or August, there's going to be some really good things coming through. Let's clarify the Six of Cups. That's too many. Oh my goodness. Maybe the Six of Cups is where a lot of your, maybe that's what you're doing this for, because a lot's coming out. Six of Cups, we have Seven of Cups. Maybe you feel like there's too many things to devote to right now, or maybe you feel like you don't know how to like navigate this right now. Or you won't in the outcome. You're not going to really understand how to navigate things. Or maybe what's happening is you're going to have so many amazing things coming towards you that you're going to feel a little overwhelmed with what to do with it. So it's almost like, let's say you start generating more of an income. Now that you have all this stuff that's available to you that wasn't prior, maybe because you didn't have the money to do it, like, are you going to feel a little overwhelmed because there's going to be so many things that you can put that money towards? Clarify the Chariot. Or maybe it's going to be given the opportunity to do more than one thing. Maybe if you experience some form of a promotion, all of a sudden it's like all these other doors open for you. Maybe you don't have to stay where you're at. Maybe you get offers or opportunities from other companies. So with the Chariot, we have the Two of Wands. Yeah, it's all about that decision making. It's all about these things falling into place. Maybe even then, let's say once you get a little more settled into your environment, into that promotion,